Sure.
Okay, hello everybody. Hello, boys and girls. Good afternoon here in Mexico City, and good night or good evening in Europe. Today is September. Sorry, it's Saturday, May the 22nd in Mexico City. It's 1 p.m. and we have today a very interesting guest, Jiri Popelka from Czech Republic. I say hi to Jiri. How are you, Jiri? Please tell me the exact name of your city. It's not Prague, right?
No. Hello, everybody. I am located in Czech Republic, and my city is small city. It's around. It's about 100,000 people living here in České Budějovice. It's close to Prague. It's 150 kilometers in Prague, but Czech Republic is a very small country, so we are almost living in the one place.
Okay, please tell me again the name. It's a little difficult.
It's České Budějovice. České Budějovice, yeah. Czech is not an easy language to speak and to understand. It's like, for me, Chinese. I can understand zero.
Yeah, which language can be more difficult? Finnish, Czech, Hungarian?
I know from some of the reports or analyses, Czech is one of the 5 most difficult languages because we have so many rules that you have to follow, and even I am not perfect in Czech, so I prefer sometimes English is easier for me. Of course, I don't have so much vocabulary in English like in Czech Republic, like in Czech language, but Czech is very difficult even for us.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. I sometimes I read some text in Czech, and I told myself, "Hey, what's going on here? I don't understand any word."
It's secret language.
It's Slavic language.
Yeah, it's a Bohemian language. It's Bohemian language. We are similar to Russian, to Polish, to Serbian language. These languages are, we can understand approximately half of the what is other languages, what is other people are saying. But Czech is really like special in my eyes because we have really like nouns that you are not used to pronounce, and it's really difficult. Yeah. But I don't think that we should speak about.
Okay, we'll talk in English, no problem. Do you speak some Spanish or nothing? No Spanish.
I was playing 1 year in Argentina, so I little bit understand. I can speak Italian, I can speak Russian, I can speak Polish, and maybe French, but Spanish is not my language that I can speak fluently.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jiri, for being here in the show today in the episode 161. Thanks a lot. It's been 30 months since the first episode, and I'm pretty excited. That you are the first people from Czech Republic to be here in the show.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that you invite me, and I hope that I will help to others with something. I will answer some questions, or I will answer some questions which you prepared for me.
Just one last question about your country, Jiri. The official name is still Czech Republic, or is Czechia?
Yeah, you can say Czech Republic or Czechia. Both names are correct.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks a lot, Jiri, for being here in the show. As I told you before, please tell us something about your beginnings in volleyball. You know, I have here a lot of people that I'm pretty amazed because 80% of them, volleyball wasn't their first choice. I know it was your case.
Yeah, my volleyball career started a little bit late. I'm coming from a small city. My city was about 15,000 people where I was living there. And first of all, we in Czech Republic, we love volleyball. We love football, sorry, like in many countries. So first sport what I was practicing was football. I was playing from the elementary school for 6-7 years, but then I start to grow up a little bit, and it was not the best sport for me. So I started also to play tennis, and I thought one day I will be the famous tennis player. I was practicing even in the winter when it was snowing, but I was there. I thought about myself that I will be one day like Pete Sampras or the stars at the time. But with tennis, it was the same. I was not in any official club, so I was doing it only for myself. But I like other sports, hockey. In Czech Republic, the time, we have to be outside because there was nothing to do at home, and you have to go outside to have some fun. So we were doing many sports. We were on skis, on skates, so many sports we were doing. We were playing ping pong and swimming also. But then at around when I was 14 or 15, I was already more than 190 centimeters. So I was thinking about another sport, not only about football or tennis. And I was trying to play basketball, but basketball was very difficult for me. It was, I have to confess, it was too much running for me, and I like to hit the ball. So basketball was not the best option. So I started with volleyball, and the first year or first 2 years, I was really like not a talented player. I was playing with the women's. They were, by two heads lower than me, but they were better. I was, after every practice, I was angry that, come on, they are not so physical. They are smaller than me, but they play better volleyball. So every time after the practice, I said, no, next time I want to be a little bit better than them. And after 2 years, I started to be better than the women. So I started to practice with the men team. But again, I came to the men team, and even the men with 40, 45 years old were better than me. So it was again motivation for me to grow and to continue with volleyball. And at the end, I changed my city. I started to study in Prague. So I was playing in Prague Junior League, but I was not good at the time at all. But I was one of the tallest player in the Czech Republic. So this was big advantage for me. So after 1 year in Prague, one club from České Budějovice, from the city where I live, came to me and said, oh, come on, you are tall. Maybe we can make you a better player or good player. So I came here, and I spent 4 years in České Budějovice. And the last year when we played, we won for the first time championship in the Czech Republic. So it was a really big success for us. And I already at the time played also in the Czech national team. We were playing some tournaments. I played also at the European Championships 1999, where we finished on the 4th place. For us, it was a big success, because Czech Republic is not one of the big countries like Serbia or Russia. And then my volleyball career continued with national team. I spent about 12 or 13 years in national team. I played 3 world championship, but again, Czech, we never win because we are small, and even our best result was 10th place at the world championship 2010 in Italy. It was really our maximum. From the time we were not participating at the world championship, but I was like a traveler, volleyball traveler, because I spent 13 years in 10 countries. So I played in Belgium, France, Germany, Russia, Poland, Turkey, Argentina, UAE, and Italy. And I like what I experienced in these countries. Of course, it was not sometimes easy. In Russia, it was cold, and you have to practice really hard to achieve something. But then I learned that if you go full, nobody can stop you if you don't break your body. And after my volleyball career, I started to work in the Czech Volleyball Federation. I was 4 years manager of the men and women national team. It was a great experience for me. And of course, that was not only the thing what I did, because when I played in Russia, what I mentioned, I was cold outside. It was very cold outside. And in 2004, we decided to start the project to make our own website, Volley Country, because at the time, you could not find any information about volleyball. It was only pieces, and we had so much free time. So we decided to make a Volley Country. So now we are making more than 17 years Volley Country. Our server is writing about some news, and now I'm doing also some YouTube videos. But when I finished with the national teams as the managers of the teams, I started to be regional president of we have 14 regions in Czech Republic, and I was president of one of our regions. Again, I tried to help volleyball in our region, and it was good because all these regions in Czech Republic are like responsible for the growth of the youth volleyball. So we made a great progress, because in our region, when I started, there was only 1,500 volleyball players, and at the end of these 4 years, it was 2,100. So 30% increase. It was great. And right now, I am doing we started 3 years ago our own volleyball club. We call it a School of Volleyball, and I want to teach and show each kid My main goal is not to create some kind of national team players or top players. I want that everybody is having fun playing volleyball, and everybody has some basic skills to play with the father, with the friends. And we are also doing school volleyball leagues in Czech Republic, because I think that in school, I don't know how about in other countries, but in Czech Republic, the kids are spending in schools a lot of time, 6 to 8 hours normally, and they have only 2 hours per week of the activity, of the physical activity. And in my eyes, it's not enough. So I created this school volleyball leagues for elementary school, for high school, and for college schools. And we are playing mix. We don't play classical boys or girls. We play boys and girls together. And it's not about some big results. It's just about having fun, spending time with the friends. And I know that the boys and girls, they like this, because it's like it's something special for them. So we are doing this, and now we will have about almost 2,000 participants playing this competition in Czech Republic. And I like volleyball a lot, like everybody who was here, I think, with Volley Talks, like you. And I want to give something back to volleyball, because I experienced it. I played in many countries. I learned a lot of things. Now I'm meeting many coaches. I'm also organizing a volleyball conference in Czech Republic. And 2 years ago, when we could do this, it was about 200 coaches here from 15 countries. So this is something that I like to do in the future. And also, like you, in this COVID time, I didn't know what to do, because we could not practice, we could not do anything. We should be at home. So I also started to film some short videos about how to play volleyball, how to jump, how to hit harder. These short videos, which I am now publishing on YouTube, and I like it that many people like these videos. So this is again motivation for me to continue with this in the future.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Jiri. We will talk about Volley country a little bit, some minutes later. I wanna ask you about your pro career. Did you play? You told me in 10 countries in 13 years.
Yes.
In which kind of teams?
I played in, for example, Noliko Mazejk when
the team of Vital Heinen.
Yes. I played with Vital Heinen. He was my setter, so it was a great time, And now still we are the friend. Then I played in Tours in France. It was a famous team. I played also in Kejéřin, which now won the Champions League. So it was great. Then I played 2 years in Russia, in Novosibirsk. It was really, really cold. 6 weeks, the temperature didn't go up more than 35 degrees, minus 35. So it was 35 and less.
6 weeks.
6 weeks in a row.
Wow.
It was a great year. And then I played also in Italy, close to Rome. I played in Turkey, in Ankara. I played in Buenos Aires. So for me, it was a great experience, and I'm really glad that I met so many people and players and coaches from so many countries. So now I have friends all around the world. That's good.
Amazing. Just like me, I have received people from 31 different countries in this journey, and it's pretty amazing to have friends around the world. Which names besides Vital Heinen have you played with, or have you been coached? People who are right now still in the volleyball, in the world volleyball scene.
I was glad that I could work with Vital Heinen as a setter. Then in France, my coach was Vladimir Alekno, really strict coach and good coach. I learned a lot from him. Then Gianpaolo Medei, now he was a coach in Macerata 2 years ago. Now he won the championships in Ankara. And now when I'm doing this volleyball conference, I had I spent a great time with Roberto Piazza, with Massimo Barbolini, with Javier Weber, who was coming to my conference, and he spent also 1 week in the Czech Republic with 50 kids. And I have to tell you, he's amazing, because he spent 1 week with 50 kids, and he was the only one who was showing all the exercises. So after 5 days, he said, "Okay, I never practiced so much from the time then I finished my career." So but it was really great, and the people loved him. So yes, these are the names what came to my mind now.
Great. I remember that Czech Republic was one of the top teams in the beginnings of FIVB in the 50s, in the 60s. What is what is the feeling about you and the Czech people remembering those times?
We are really happy that we could be there at the beginning, but at the beginning it was much easier than now because it was not so much competition. And at the beginning, we have to say that all these people were great sportsmen, but if you compare it with the today's with the last years, now the professional sportsman is something completely different. Also the level of the volleyball is now different, and maybe in 10 years it will be again different. But we were really happy that we could be at the Olympics, that we could play good with the other teams. We were also one of the nations that teach other nations how to play volleyball. But after that, these nations which where the sportsmanship and this like coaching has a bigger base, became better than we. We stood on the same place, but on the other hand, we are still a small country. So for us, it is not so easier to become the best teams because we don't have so much people. But anyway, it's not like an excuse because even Slovenia is playing well, even Belgium is playing well. So I don't think that we could not play well. But for example, when I was this manager of the national teams, I said to our president, even if you give me 3 times more money, 5 times more money, if we have, I don't know, 10 million euro for only national teams, we cannot succeed because we don't have the people, we don't have the players. So for me, from the time I started to, look down about the development of the young players, because the bigger base you have, the better chance you have to create this kind of players. And I think in many countries they are doing this very well, but in Czech Republic, of course, we have to compete with many sports, like hockey is very popular here, and football is popular here. But for me, I see bigger potential in women volleyball than in men volleyball, because in men volleyball, like in other countries, you have to fight with these sports and there is much more money. But in the women volleyball, I see that there is a bigger opportunity. And also I'm building this club with some kind of imagine in my head to be more successful in women volleyball or in youth, in the girls volleyball, than in the boys or men volleyball.
And well, we are watching here the history of when you were Czechoslovakia, but you medaled in the first Olympics in Tokyo for volleyball. You got bronze in Mexico City in '68. The World Championships, medals from 49 through 66. Mm-hmm. So yeah, in the early days, Czechoslovakia was big.
Yes. So I know that we were one of the best countries, and we would like to come back to this time, but now it's much harder because now many countries are at the same level, and only the small things are deciding about the big success. So it's like much harder now to succeed.
Yes, I can imagine that. What can I tell you? We are in Mexico, are a country of 130 million people, and I'm pretty sure that there can be 6 or 8 people for more than 2 meters, but the challenge is to find them and to develop them.
Yeah. We are in Czech Republic, it's 10 million people, and I played one time I played more time against Mexico, and I remember also Contreras, the opposite, the spiker, the opposite from the Mexico.
Ivan Contreras.
Ivan Contreras. He played also in Belgium when I was at that time. Yeah. But I think you are in the similar. Mexico is in the similar situation as we are. We want, but we are still missing something. But we have to fight. We have to work. We have to don't think. We don't have to cry. We should try our best.
Yeah, right. But in today's days, the beach volleyball men's team, Schreiner and Perishik, they are doing great in the World Tour.
Yes. Now we have this men team, which is good in the last 1 or 2 years. But moreover, we have a great women team, beach team, which were at the Olympics 2012 already in London, now 2016. And we also think that, or we believe that they will get to the Olympics because beach volleyball is now like a volleyball in the 50 years ago for us. We have more success from the beach volleyball than from indoor volleyball.
I think a lot of countries. I have told this a lot of times, but beach volleyball is more like it's like more democratic. It's 24 teams for the Olympics, and just two teams per country. So a lot of different countries have the opportunity to go to Olympics, because in the indoor you have to have all at least 12 people and all the staffing coach, but in beach you only need two.
Yeah, but and in beach you have 24 teams. In indoor you have 12 teams, and 12 teams to get to the Olympics. For us, it's like you have to win world championships or European championship, and to win European championship is almost like win world championship, because we have to say that in Europe, I don't say that there are not other good countries, but in Europe are the most of the top teams. So it's the most difficult. If we are living in Australia, it will be a little bit different, a little bit easier. But of course, even there, they have to fight hard again other opponent. That's correct. That's right.
Yeah, I was watching last week the Eurovolley qualifiers, and it it qualified only 24 teams for Eurovolley. I mean,
I
there
think
are a lot of teams in Europe.
No, in Europe we had the scheme. The European Volleyball Federation made the change from 16 team to 24. But for now, in Europe there is 50 countries, so every second country has a chance to go to the European Championship. And it's good that they made this change, because now you can play 4 groups, and 4 groups in 4 countries. So it's good for the development of the volleyball. So now, for example, now at 2021, we are organizing one group in the men European Championship. It will be in few months, and we believe that this organization of this group will help us to achieve some good result. But it's good, I think. I also understand that Olympics, you cannot make Olympics volleyball 24 teams and basketball 24 teams and everybody 24 teams. But for us, for like smaller countries, and it's really difficult, almost impossible to go to Olympics. Even for now, for the world championships, for us, the way is really difficult. But it's only about us. If you have good players, if you play good, then we are there. But we are not at this level now.
And on the women's side, Czech Republic also qualified, right, for Eurovolley.
Yes. This is like we have to do it. We have to qualify. This is like it's not like a success for us. We should qualify. We should go. Well, there will be this group of the 6 teams, and from the group we should go to 8 finals at least. If we go to quarterfinals, it will be good. Semi-final would be something special for us.
Well, yeah, I understand you pretty well. You mentioned a few minutes ago that it's a shame that in Czech Republic kids have only 2 hours a week of physical education, where in Mexico there is only 1 hour.
Yeah, but I think in Mexico you have better conditions to be outside, no? Because in Czech Republic, in the bigger cities, in the České Budějovice, in my city, if you live here, nobody will let the kids to go outside, because we are scared of some, there are cars, there are people, there is something. So nobody is going outside. Nobody is spending time outside. So nobody is moving. We are only saying, like parents, we say, okay, now you spend 6 hours in the school. Okay, you cannot be at home, so we will find you some sport, maybe volleyball, maybe football, maybe something. But we are like drivers, of the kids. They are not deciding. We are driving them, and in the evening, they are tired, because they have to be in the school. They have to make homework. We are driving them, and there is no fun. There is no like this natural movement, natural deciding. They don't play their games. We say what they have to play. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why we are not successful anymore, because it's not natural. We are like driving them.
But how those children practice, for example, volleyball in Czech Republic, in their schools, in clubs, or what?
No, in a school, it depends also only about the teacher. Sometimes in Czech Republic, very popular sport is floorball. I don't know, it's kind of the hockey without the ice. And this, you just need a stick and the ball, and you play it. In volleyball, it depends. In the schools, it's not like the nationwide program. You have to play volleyball, you have to play basket. No, it depends on the school. So the schools, the teachers decide, I like this sport or I like other sport. And volleyball is not one of this most popular sports. So After the school, they have to go to the clubs. We have a lot of clubs. There is about 800 clubs in Czech Republic, and many clubs are even like big clubs with more than 200, 300, 500 kids, and they are practicing in this club. And also it depends on the teacher. We have one great project in Czech Republic is the mini volleyball. For us, it's like volleyball, but it's not volleyball. It's like a throwing, catching. When we want to play volleyball with the kids from 6 to 12 years old, so we are playing mini volleyball. In some countries, they call it a little bit different, smash volley or action volley. I don't know, mini volley. But for us, it's important that we can already fight with the other sports, for these kids from this age, from 6 to 12 years old. Because if we are coming from 12 years, as normally is volleyball, you cannot play normally volleyball if you are under 12 years old, because you don't have the power to play the ball. You can bump it, but the fingers you cannot play because the impact of the ball is too big, and you don't have the power to set the ball. So this mini volleyball is like a big help for us, and we are playing tournaments. And for example, in České Budějovice, in our region, we were organizing tournaments, and more than 500 kids were participating at this tournament. We had 15 grounds, 15 playgrounds where to play. We played in 6 hours more than 400 games. For us, it was really like difficult, but and demanding. But at the end, if when you see these kids, their smile, their fight, and they don't play it just to win. They just play it because they like to move. And this is what I like.
Well, let me tell you, I'm pretty amazed, because I have another idea of volleyball in Czech Republic.
Just tell me.
No, I mean, well, I told you Mexico, we have 130 million people, and sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult to fight against soccer. Soccer is big in Mexico, like in a lot of countries, but maybe basketball is second, baseball is the third, and I think here in Mexico, volleyball is the fourth or maybe the fifth sport. As there are people playing, but not in the proportion of 130 million people country.
I understand. But for me, I think the easiest way how to play volleyball is to play these mixes, because it's either always difficult to find 6 to 12 men, 6 to 12 women, but if they play together. And for me, if you are not, playing the top league, you can play boys and girls together. We have this system in Czech Republic. We call it like amateur volleyball leagues in Czech Republic. So there are always 2 girls in the ground. So 2 girls are like setters, and the boys, the men, they are spikers. But we play this, and we have a great history of these tournaments. We are playing also on the clay outside. We didn't play in the halls some years ago. So we are playing these summer leagues in the summer, and they are popular. And this is, I think, the best way how to start with volleyball, just to play 6 against 6. You can play 8 against 8, 4 against 4, just play over the net, and even beach volleyball. We are not limited to play 2 against 2. We have already here in our city, in other cities, playing totally amateur players, 6 against 6. So we are not restricted just by the rules. If we are playing these amateur competitions, of course, if you are playing official competitions, you have to follow some rules. But I think, if you want to play volleyball, you can find, plays almost everywhere, and you don't even need some special net or some expensive equipment. It's not important.
Jiri, what can you tell me about your opinion of the different schools of volleyball, the European or the East European volleyball, the West European volleyball versus American volleyball or South American volleyball and Asian volleyball? I don't know, what analysis have you made about this?
I know that each volleyball school is proud of themselves. I was playing world championship in Japan, and in Japan the defense was number 1. No ball was going down on the floor. Japan and Korean team were always like this. In Russia, when I played in Russia, everything was only about power. You have to have 2 meters and more, and you have to hit everything strong, and block was there, and there was not like a tip or some technique. No. Show me your power. If you don't have a power, we have 20 more players, and they can substitute you. When I was in Italy, everything was like a great connected with everything. You made a good stretching, you made fitness, you were eating well, you were practicing well, and it was like a great life. When I was in Argentina, we were practicing a lot. every day there was a fitness. We were not in Europe. We were not used for this to make 5 times per week a fitness. But then 3 months you were preparing for this competition, and at the end you played 4 months of the league. So I understood this, and I know in USA, in Canada, they have great systems, and I think we should learn from every country. I don't say that, and I don't believe it, that there is only one way. There is not only way to attack hard the jump serve. I think we should learn from each other, and this is also one of my ideas how to create this volleyball conference. I'm not saying that volleyball is only to win, or to play like this. Just every coach can have his opinion, and you can see it from different perspective, and you can take small things from anyone. So, and I think the more open you are, the more better you can become. Because if you only follow one path, one way, then you are missing something, and you should also always learn. It's like with the books. If you start to read the books, one book, second book, then you know that you have to read 100 books, and once you read these 100 books, if I want to know more, I have to read 1,000 books. And this is with the volleyball the same. You should always keep learning and studying, and it's not only about making degrees or to have some license. It's about speaking with the friends, speaking with the coach, speaking with the players, speaking with the fans, and also online now. At this time, you can watch Volley Talks, you can watch other from European Volleyball Federation webinars. You can watch YouTube, you can watch many channels, and you can learn a lot from these people.
Yuri, in all of those countries and teams you have played, which one was the most enjoying experience for you? Maybe for the team, for the weather, for the food, for the players.
I cannot say that one country was the best one, because in some countries, for example, when I played in Belgium, we had the successes. We won the championships, we won the cups. We were really like a good team at the time. We played also Champions League, and we were finishing in a good positions. Then I played in some clubs which didn't have such a great results, but it was different. So I can tell you 2 stories. So one story was about Russia. In Russia, I played in Yaroslav, and in Yaroslav there was also the base, the camp of the youth national team. So we were practicing from 10 o'clock, and then in the afternoon from 4 o'clock. And when I came there, to the gym, I was, I'm 2 meters and 4 centimeters. But when I came to the gym after the practice of these youth teams, there were 7 players from 16 to 19 years taller than me. So I was like, come on. In Czech Republic, I was number 2, number 3. And then there was these players, and they were practicing from 7 o'clock in the morning. And then after the school, they were practicing again, and they were practicing really like hard. And this coach, Mr. Shlapnikov, he also, at the time, I was not happy with him, but he was really pushing us. He was pushing us to our limits. So there was no limit, in the attack. There was no limit in the block, in the serve. He had no limit, and he pushed us a lot. So if you survived his practices, you were really like a Terminator. Nobody could stop you. I was feeling really great. I had pain everywhere, but if I played the game under the painkillers, I was like a really RoboCop Terminator, trying to kill everything. And this was my goal. No technique, just the power. And then next year I came to Italy, and in Italy they told me, you don't have to practice 6 hours a day. Come on, you don't have to do this. Just watch a little bit of video, go for good eat, spend time with physio, spend time in fitness. So it was completely different, and it was like connected. Everything was connected together. So I cannot say that it was the best, because we were not winning the Italian championships. We were also losing. But for me, these kind of the different ideas, the schools, how to solve this situation were really like something what I will remember for the rest of my life.
Okay. Which coaches do you think had more impact with you when you were a player and then a coach? Which these international coaches have influenced you the most for the best?
I think one of these coaches was for sure Vladimir Alekman, because when you were working with him, you knew that you have to listen to him every word. At the time, when we were playing in tour, he was also like a monster. He was like bodybuilder. We were doing, I can tell you, we were doing in fitness with barbell 90 degrees. The what is this? I don't know now the name.
The
push-ups with 90 kilograms, and he was doing 180 kilograms. This was like for us incredible. So if you want to say no to him, you saw him standing like this, so you didn't say no. And he was really smart. He was not like saying that it's all, I saw 100 games and you have to play like what I say. No, he say you watch the game and you adapt to the game. It was great. And then also I have to mention Anders Christiansson. He's now coach in the beach volleyball, and I suggest you should also speak with him because he is a great person. And when I was in Belgium with him, he was kind of like a Russian coach, Italian coach, a Belgian coach, a Polish coach. He had everything. He was unbelievably smart, and he knew everything about volleyball. And from the middle level players, he could get a really good result and a really good game and a really good team. So these two coaches were really like are still in my memory. But I could speak about other coaches, but now for now, just these two coaches came to my mind.
Oh, well, Vladimir Lekno is a hell of a coach. He's a great coach. He accomplished great things with Russia. And what do you think about the challenges now in Iran?
I think that, he's going to Iran because Iran is still hungry for some big success. They are hungry. I know in Iran, the volleyball is one of the best sport, like in Poland. In Poland, you have football and volleyball. In Iran, it's similar. If you are a volleyball player in Iran, you are the star. Everybody knows you. You are really like I don't know, like Ronaldo in football. In Iran. And I know that they are missing this big success, and they want from Alekno to connect everybody in Iran and to achieve these big goals at the Olympics. I cannot tell you if they succeeded because, again, Iran, in my eyes, is one of the top teams, but I can tell you another 8 teams which are similar. And about the success, it's really, really tiny line, about the success and not succeeding. So Iran, for me, if we have all volleyball countries like in Iran, we are similar to football, but it's not like this, because also in USA, in Canada, in Mexico, as you told me, volleyball is not the sport that everybody wants to play, and it's not easy to change it. We have to admit it.
Yeah, we're right. And I like Iran team, and I think they needed in the last 8 or 10 years just one more piece to get the success, and I think Alekno will be that piece.
Yeah, we will see. I cannot tell you. I would like to see them to succeed, but on the other hand, I have also my other countries which I like, which I support. So I am not a fan of one country. I am a fan of the best volleyball, and I believe that this year in Volleyball National League, in the Olympics, we will see the fantastic volleyball again.
And talking about VNL, which starts on Tuesday, and Olympics, can you mention? I don't know, 4 teams that maybe could be in the podium, get the medals. Which are your favorites, or the teams that you think arise in the best shape for these 2 competitions? And also Volley since August, September.
Yes. I think that this year the Volleyball National League will be not as usual, because this year the teams that are qualified for Olympics, they will not play it with the best teams, because the Olympics is the main goal. And I remember, for example, I think you can remember too, in 2018 when we had this World Championship, Poland played Volleyball National League with B team. They were saving the best player for the World Championship, and then they won World Championship. So I think the similar strategy can be in the mind of many teams this year, because the players, they played the whole season. They played 8 months, and in clubs you have to play because you are receiving money, so you have to play. Then you come back to your country, and in 1 week you have to start preparation for Volleyball National League. And also some countries will say, come on, we have to play. You have to play. You have to make 100%. And then you finish Volleyball National League, and in few days, come on, it's coming Olympics. And the players have in the mind, after Olympics, I have to go to club. and we are not robots. We cannot survive it. So this year, I think the Volleyball National League can be affected of these ideas of some some teams that they will not play 100%, or they will play at the end of the Volleyball National Leagues with the top teams. Of course, as usually, if you ask me for some teams, I think that Brazil, France, USA can be really high. Poland also, but if they play with B teams, then I cannot say it for sure. And I know, for example, now that Argentina, the team of Argentina, went to Italy only with 9 players because there is this COVID situation, and this can affect everybody in one time. You are full of after preparation, and you can play in the full composition, and in 1 week you are missing setter, you are missing opposite, you are missing spiker, and without these 3 players you cannot play the same level against these top teams. So this is also one point that can affect this participation of these teams.
Oh, totally agree, Jiri. Which team would you call the black horse? Are you common with this word, the black horse? Or
yes, we call it in Czech Republic too, and I think that we have many black forces hungry for this big results, like Iran, for example. France also would want to win something. That's why they are also thinking also in head about the Olympics 2024, and they sign Bernardino, so this is great for them. Yes, Serbia, Italy, France, even I think USA can make a good result. I think there are so many teams, because it's not about like one team winning always. Like Brazil, a few years ago, they were dominating volleyball. They were dominating, and they when they have Giba and Dante and Ricardinho, they were the best and they were winning. But now I don't see this one team which is above others. I think that the gap is real like this, and it depends on the day of the game, on the performance of the opposite, of the performance of the setter, and it's really like close together.
And what do you think, Yuri, about this bubble in Rimini? There will be almost 5 weeks of confinement in the hotel, venue, hotel, auto practice hotel. Obviously, it's an atypical year, in atypical times. But how do you see this from the player's eyes?
I think from the player side, they know that their life is not easy. They know that they have to survive some conditions, and they know that for participating, for the good result, for the staying healthy, this is the only way. There is not other way. You cannot go other way. You have to stay in the bubble. You have to stay in the bubble. If you stay in the bubble, then this competition can go on. If you don't stay in the bubble, there is a big risk that one player can change everything, and this is too big risk. So I know that also in other sports they are doing this, so we have to survive it. But now this situation is a little bit easier for the player, because I can tell you my story. When I was in Novosibirsk, it was -40 outside, and I had no internet. What can you do? You can do nothing.
Watch a lot of TV.
Yes, I was watching TV or listening to music. But now these times, you go to the hotel, you can call to your wife, you can play some games, you can speak with the friends, you can spend some time on Instagram, Facebook, so you have something to do. So it's still 5 weeks, 5 weeks, in our life, it's nothing. Of course we don't like it, but we have to know why we do this. It's not that we have to do it because somebody say it, but I want to do it as a player because I want to play. That's it.
Yeah, and another question from the player side, the player's eyes. What do you think about this? There are a lot of players and coaches that says that FIVB is pushing a lot the calendars. The international calendar, then the season calendar, then the international calendar, and I know a lot of American players that they spend 11 months away of US soil, and they go to US for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then go back to the club. If it were up to you, what would you do with this thing about calendars in international volleyball?
I think in general, if you want to be successful, you have to play all the time. If you want to be a good player, you have to practice all the time. You cannot have 2 months break. And I think FIVB is also doing, for the popularity of the volleyball, because if you now watch FIVB Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they are really growing. They are one of the best federation, which is now, growing up. And for all this growth, you need some competitions. You need beach volleyball competition. You need this indoor competitions, because FIVB, on the other hand, is only for this competition you can make 3 or 4 months in a year. Of course, that leagues are crying because the players, they don't have a time to rest. And in my eyes, the best solution for the US players would be to have a own league. I know now there is this women league, started this project in USA. For the men, it would be also good, but I understand, that it's not easy in this project. It's something similar like in Italy, in Russia, in France. But on the other hand, if we have some kind of a volleyball, basketball league like NBA in volleyball in USA, it would help a lot to volleyball, because right now, I'm also thinking about volleyball. And if you want to watch volleyball, you have to know 5 languages and then watch it there. And we don't have something, some like star league, where we can watch all these players like we have NBA, NHL, and NFL. So this one league could help us a lot, because in Italy they are doing great job, and I am watching all these all these championships and cups. But this is only Europe, and in Europe, we never made this kind of a project. Maybe Barcelona can make it, or München can make it, but in volleyball, we are still too small. If it is something in USA, I would support it, and I think this could help a lot to volleyball. And but on the other hand, I don't know everything, all the conditions, if is it possible or not. So this is all about the American Federation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I talked 1.5 months ago with Jimmy Davis, CEO of USA Volleyball, and they're pretty excited about the success of Athletes Anonymous Volleyball. The next year is confirmed the Women's League, but the men's, I think it's gonna. We gotta wait. We gotta wait a little more to watch.
No, and I tell you also why, because it's similar. It's in US, in Italy, in Czech Republic. Volleyball is played by 70% of the women or the girls and 30% of the men. So that's why it's much difficult to start new competition in the men, because men is in USA, basketball, baseball, football, blah blah blah, and other sports. So it's much harder to make this competition, and that's why I'm thinking, why not make women volleyball the best sport in the world? Of course, we want to play men volleyball, but it's much harder to get, to go step by step. But in women volleyball, of course, it's not. Some men, they say, oh, women's sport, it's not the sport. But I don't have this same idea. I think if you want to make volleyball the best sport, the women way is much easier than the men way.
Yeah, right. And what do you think about the format of Athletes Anonymous Volleyball?
I think that it's good to have this change, this or a different kind of counting to make other teams. I think if you want to start with some new project, you have to bring some fresh blood, and this was the fresh blood. I cannot tell you if it will be successful in the future. They should know it. I like it, because it's different. And as I said, for me, if you play volleyball 2 against 2, 4 against 4, up till 25, up to 10, up to 20 minutes, for me, it's still volleyball. It's just the way how to play volleyball. The most important is that the ball is going on the other side and it's not falling down,
All right. Yeah. No, I think that the main challenge for volleyball in the USA is the length of the match. You never know if yes, it's gonna last 40 minutes or it's gonna last 3 hours. And I think I know, what do you think? I think one of the keys for success of beach volleyball is that it's very uncommon that the match of beach volleyball lasts for more than an hour. It's more standard.
I know that we are speaking also at the federation. We were speaking how to limit the game, because I'm also working for the Czech television, and I am commenting these our games in the leagues. And sometimes we are live, and they say after 60 minutes you are cut because there is a hockey, there is something else, and you cannot predict volleyball. It can be 60 minutes, it can be 2 hours, it can be 2.5 hours. On the other hand, I can answer something what is, if you see golf, if you see tennis, they are also not predictable. They are not predictable at all, and they are not changing it. So why should we change it? I understand we don't have so much media coverage. We want to change something. That's why also I'm thinking how to change volleyball, how to do something different. And one of my ideas, what I also mentioned in my video on YouTube, is to create more emotions in the volleyball. Because right now, if you make a point, and there is a net and opponent, you have to turn back to your team and say, come on, I made a point. And for my eyes, it's good for the team, but for the spectators, he's saying they made another point. For me, it's nothing special. But if you allow these interactions with the other teams, if you can, attack the ball and then you go to the net and you show some face to the opponent, and they will be standing like this. They will not hit at they will hit each other. They will come a kind of the people will be, oh, come on, this is something. Because if you watch football or hockey or something, there is a lot of interaction. There is this, they are hitting each other, and we like it. Of course, I don't say that this is the right, but this is the time that the people like this interaction. They like to hit, they like some kind of action. And in volleyball, we should change it and we should bring more action. I don't say that we should, fight against each other, and some fist in the playground, but this kind of a change could be, in my eyes, beneficial for volleyball, because the spectators, because the media, they would speak about this moment. They will speak about some brutal attack, but they will speak about, if you watch somebody like this, and you will show something, or you will show that that you block him or something, like this.
Yeah. For example, I think people, volleyball fans like me and you, remember very, very well the '96 Olympics, Atlanta, the match between Cuba and Brazil. It's a match that people still talks of that these days, because it was more like spikes and blockings. There were more things involved.
Yeah. And this is, I think, this is.
I understand you. Yeah.
This is, I think, maybe we need more emotions. More emotions means also I can be crazy player, and if I make some point, some good action, I can run all around the court. But this is like in my eyes, fake emotions, or I would not do this. I'm not this kind of the person. But if somebody tell me, there is a 24-24 and I will attack sharp diagonal, then I will stay and I will show them, I make this point. And on the other hand, if they make point against me, if they block me, they can show me, something like this. So this is more about the interactions. I understand that the point of view of the FIVB, of the European Volleyball Federation, can be different. They want to have a clean sport. I understand. I want to have also clean sport. I don't want to fight. I don't want to hit somebody. But on the other hand, the media and the fans, they want something more. They want more, and we should come to them, because we don't play it for the players. We play it for the fans.
Totally right. And I think one of the biggest challenges of FIVB is, first, volleyball is a very technical sport. We have a lot of rules. It's difficult to understand volleyball for people who is not involved in volleyball.
Yep.
And also, I think it's too ceremonial. Let's introduce the referees. Who cares about the referees? The people want to see the players, want to watch huge plays, huge actions. But today, in today's volleyball, I think the referee has a lot of control of what happens in volleyball. Hey, you can shout. If you shout, I will give you a card. If you run around the court, it's improper conduct or something like that. I think it's one of the biggest challenges of volleyball. And I think those things, Americans understand it very, very well. For NFL, for NBA, for NHL, it's a show. At the end of the day, it's a show. But when I say this to some purists of volleyball or some long-time teachers, they told me, hey, no. Volleyball is for enjoy of the players. Oh yeah, but what about the spectators, the fans? How can we create fan engagement? And I think that's the key. What do you think?
I completely understand this. So volleyball is kind of a sport, in my eyes, like for a professor. It's like a good sport. You are going in the tie. You watch it. You are smart. You watch it. But not everybody is a professor, and I know that you have to make the sport as most achievable for everybody. So for me, when I speak about volleyball, I want to say that these thoughts, what I say, everybody has to understand. So even if you are 12 years old, you have to understand me. I will not speak for some professor. I will not speak for some engineer. I want that everybody will understand me. And volleyball also should be, like you say, for everybody, that they understand. So these rules, I understand that basketball cannot change the rules. We cannot change completely the rules, but we should make step by step some small changes. I don't have any concrete idea in my head, but I also know that Ivan Milkovic and other people are speaking about this on LinkedIn. So I think maybe this can lead to some small changes in future. I am sure that FIB is also working on some concept how to help volleyball. And yes, it's correct that we need to change. I don't say big change, but we need to change. We need to adapt, because we are not the rules of the board. When I speak about the coaches, they say, why we are not successful in Czech Republic, and we are not successful because we are listening to some coach or some coaches, and they are not the best in the world. If they are not the best in the world, why we should listen 100% from them? Why we don't listen to Bernardinho? Bernardinho is the best coach in the world, and if he say you have to play forearm pass like this, I will understand. But if we have coaches that are good coaches, but in the lower level, why we should follow to them all these advices?
Yeah, right. Well, we will see. For example, one thing that coaches like Igor Kodakovic and Mark Lebelo says, hey, we have to stop we have to be more flexible with the second ball touch, with the setting, because there are a lot of spectacular actions. The setter runs half of the court, he sets not in the perfect way. The referee whistle, and all the fans say, hey, what happened? It was a very, very spectacular action, and it was killed by the referee.
Yes, I understand this point of view, and I agree. This second touch should be, if you touch the ball bad, the set is not coming to the point where it should come. So it's you are losing, And I also remember some games, and even now, it's 24-24, one of the most decisive point in the ball in the set or in the game, and second touch. Two touch, and you are losing some game because referee saw this. I would say that after when we are 2020, there is not like a possibility of these technical technical errors. But it's not about me. But I believe that FIE will listen to these coaches and will change something in the future. I cannot tell you if they change or not, but I think that when I see what they are doing on the social sites, on the website, with the competitions, with the events, I believe that their biggest goal is to develop volleyball, and they will do also some adjustment in this area.
Yuri, if it were up to you, which other rule would you change? Rules would you change for the better of volleyball? From your point of view, of course.
It's not easy question to ask. It's not easy to answer this question. I think that one of the things could be this substitution. Why we should have these 6 substitutions? Because I see that if we are 12 players, and I want of course the best players are playing, but also other players can help to the teams. This is one of the things that I would think. One of the things that I would suggest maybe to change, but I don't have a complete materials. I didn't hear why yes, why not. It's just from my head one of the things that I would think about, and maybe this second touch should be also important. And for me also the net, if you touch the net above, I understand this could be the problem, but when you are landing and you're not turning and you touch a little bit net and there is a challenge, and again, we are here for these rallies. We are not here for challenges. The fans, they don't like. I think that the fans hate or they don't like this time when you are waiting for the challenge, because sometimes it's about 20 seconds, sometimes it's about 2 minutes. And all these interruptions in the game are not good in my eyes.
Yeah, right. Talking about substitutions, well, some things that the United States do is, for example, NCAA, they have 15 substitutions by set. In club volleyball, they have 18 substitutions by set.
I think I can tell you one more thing. In Czech Republic, and I think in many countries, the gymnasiums are not very tall. You have 7 meters, 8 meters, 9 meters. And in Czech Republic, in any competition, if the ball touches the ceiling, it's a point. In USA, again, if the ball touches the ceiling, you can play. If you can play, you can play. Again, I would give as much possibility to play. If you can play. If you can touch the ball, play the ball. Of course, you cannot run somewhere, among between spectators, and try to kill spectators to get the ball back. But this is one of another example that could be also adapted in our countries.
Yeah, for example, one of the things American alternate volleyball does is the timeouts last 2 minutes. And if it's a decision of the player if she wants to wear a long sleeve, short sleeve, short bottoms, long bottoms. If a player wants to wear the number 99, it's okay. That's not important. The important is you have 3 touches to get the ball to the other side. Do you agree? So,
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, we have to start thinking out of the box, I think.
I don't know about the clothing, because the clothing, I think, should have some limits. You cannot, one player cannot play without t-shirt, completely naked, and one player cannot be with the cap, with anything. There should be some tolerations, and on the other hand, if you have to have the same color of the shoes as your socks, this is something that, this is not, you will not win, you will not lose by this, and the spectators, they will not care, if you have this, if of course, if you are a model, if you are fashion man, you want to look, as best as possible. But I think we are here for the game. We are here to play, and we are here to play for the fans. So if the fans are okay with this, we should follow it.
Yeah, right. Jiri, in actual volleyball, in today volleyball, which players do you like to watch? In my words, for which player would you pay a ticket to watch him or watch them play?
Right now, I'm watching a lot of games from Italy, even with my son, because I will tell you a short story about my son. My son also spent many years with me in other countries, and he always watched volleyball, but he was not interested in volleyball. And from the last year, when this COVID came, I was watching this Italian Serie A1, and he started to see Simon, he started to see Juan Torrena, he started to see Leon, he started to see Gianelli and Nimir Abdelaziz. And he's now, okay, I want to watch because I see these stars. How is it possible that Simon attacked like this? And this is, I think, good for the young people, that they should have their idols, they should see their stars. And in my eyes, every player that is playing in the national team is a star. Of course, we don't have these stars like Ronaldo and other football players, but these are the stars, because they are the best in their nations. And I don't have any one particular player which is the best in my eyes, because I know also Leon is fantastic, but he has to work on some elements, and even, I don't know, other players have something that they can be a little bit better. Of course, they are very good in one skill, or in 2 skills, in 4 skills, but every player can be still better. Even when I was playing volleyball, I always try to reach a little bit higher level every day, every game, and it's like a pathway that will never finish, because once you hit strong, then you have to hit tips, so then you have to hit line, then you have to hit off the block, then you have to hit inside the block. So there is so many things that you have to learn about volleyball that I think nobody in the world can learn it. Of course, some years ago, Karch Kiraly, Bernard, Lorenzo Bernardi, they were famous players, and they would be famous even now. But I still think that these players are fantastic, but there is not one superstar that would win anything by himself, because it's a team sport, and the player can win the game, but competition, it's about the team. It's always about the team. In any level, it will be about the team, and team is winning, not the player.
Yeah, right. Jiri, obviously, volleyball from 30 years ago to today is very different. What did you see in the big trends of volleyball in the next few years?
I think that we will be more like athletes. It will be more taller players, more physically ready players, more fast sets. Even now, if you watch like a top level volleyball, you can see a lot of sets which are, if you receive behind 3-meter line, there is a high set. And I think in the future it will be faster, because right now when I played world championships 10 years ago, we played pipe and it was 1 meter over the net, and now the pipe is not 1 meter, it's like a first tempo, and I think this will be the future of the volleyball. It will be more powerful and more speed, and of course more technique, because the power, and this is one of the idea of Javier Weber, the power will always lose with the technique, because if you jump higher, but if you don't have the technique, you will lose with the player who has more technique, who has better technique. So we should work on power and the technique also. But I think both elements will be rising up, and we will see also many players that are not from the same countries. If you see Italy now, they don't have all players like Italian. They have also players from other countries. In Czech Republic, we have our players, but we are thinking, okay, maybe one mini blocker from Cuba could help us, and I think this could be also in the future, that there will be this exchanges and players playing for in other countries, and this could be also one of the trend that we will see.
Okay, and please, Jiri, right now, tell us about your project, about Volley Country, how it started, how you develop Volley Country, and what do you see in the future for volleycountry.com?
Yes, we started this website, as I said, more than 15 years ago, and we were really like crazy and passionate about volleyball, and we are still passionate. Volley Country is not only about the English version. We are also running Czech version, and Czech version is the most popular volleyball website in the Czech Republic, so it's good for us. And with Volley Country, we want to write about everything related to volleyball. We are focused, or we were focused most of the time on the top level of the volleyball. So we were writing about the results, about competitions, about the stars. But now we are writing more about long-term content, about the advices, how to play volleyball, how to jump, how to set, how to block. And this will be, I think, our future, because I see that the people, they are also, we are lazy. We have to admit it. We are lazy. If we can find some way which will be easier, we will do the easier way. We will not run 10 kilometers if we can run only 5 kilometers. And since we are easier, and since there is much more information every year for us, so we don't have so much time and focus to read something. So the best option for us is to watch, because watch is natural. And I think in the future, there will be less and less articles and posts, and much more videos and videos. And this will be the future for not volleyball, but for everybody, because we don't have this time for reading 20 newspaper every day. We will watch some videos, some highlights, some short movies, and this is about us. But I think about that Volley Country, my goal with Volley Country some years ago was sitting in the VIP zone at the Olympics, and Olympics final were there, and on the banner there will be Volley Country. This was my goal 10 years ago. But now my goal is that I would like to help to the players, to every player, to learn a little bit about volleyball. I don't say that they have to do everything what I say. I just want that they will learn something about how to eat, how to jump, how to stretch, and this kind of a piece information for everybody would be enough for us. And also we would like to develop this competition, these local leagues. We would like to make this World Volleyball Coaches Show, which is my conference, and I believe that next year it will be again after this COVID time. And we want to also create some more events for people not only from the Czech Republic, but also from the other countries. But it's a lot of work, and but we like it, and I will continue with my volleyball way until the end of the life, because I really have to give back something to volleyball for all what I learned and what I experienced.
You told me that it's the most important page of volleyball in Czech Republic. With all the metrics we have in these days, which other countries follow the most Volley Country?
I think that we have visitors from from all around the world. It can be from USA, from Brazil. Of course, most of the visitors has to speak English because we are writing only in English. But it's all around the world. Who is following Volley country, and we have more than. In total, we have more than 150,000 fans on social sites, so it's good for us. Of course, we would like to be bigger, but I don't want to be the biggest volleyball website, because I know that first of all, it's not the easy one, and I don't want to be the one that I say it has to be like this. I want to say it can be like this, like this, like this, like this. You choose what you want to do. And I think this is the attitude that we should keep. But one more important thing for us should be that we should always have fun. We should enjoy it, because if we are only pushed, or if we think that we have to do it, we will not continue. We have to have fun. We have to like it. We have to have it in our heart. And at the end, it should be our passion. So this is our motto for more than 15 years, that volleyball is our passion, in English, in Czech, and it will be the same for the rest of our times. And we are glad that many people are following us and that they like us. That's it.
Yeah, well, what can I tell you? That's the same for me. I do this because I enjoy it. I love it, and it will be very easy for me to have here only people from Mexico or only people who speak Spanish. But no, volleyball is global, and it's important to have people from all around the world.
Yeah, I think that we should. It's good that at this time, we have this internet, we have all these social networks, we have webinars, we have these Zoom meetings, so we can connect, and everybody can bring something to our life, to our volleyball, because I can learn from Russian guy, you can learn from Italian guy, somebody can learn from USA, we can learn from Canada, where is doing a great job. And this is, I think, this is the best, if you can learn from as many people as possible. And this can help you to not only achieve to be a greatest player or greatest coach, but even small things, are important for us in volleyball, because I think that we have to fight not. And this is one of the things that I didn't like, and I don't like, that many times we are fighting inside each other. Inside volleyball, we are fighting, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. But we are still thinking about volleyball, and we should not fight among ourselves. We should fight in fair play, in sportsmanship with other sports. We should fight with football, hockey, basketball. We should try to be better than them. Not like doing some crazy things, or some stealing, or some bad behavior. But we should really work together to bring volleyball and to be not sport number 4, 5, 6, but to be number 3, to be number 2, and maybe one time number 1 in the world.
Yeah, something I have say a lot of in the show is that we the volleyball people are the main responsibles to grow the game. People in soccer, in football, in baseball, in basketball, they are very busy growing their sports. We the people of volleyball, we have the responsibility,
yeah,
with love to develop the game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, Jiri, it has been a great talk. Thank you very much again. I have just one last question for you. Which real Mexican food do you like the most? I don't know if you may have Mexican restaurants there in Czech Republic.
In our country, there is only Mexican restaurants in Prague. In small cities, we have only Italian, and I have to confess that I don't know any special now Mexican food, and I would not say, and I don't want to say some things that is not connected with Mexico. What I like a lot, and I know that it's from Mexico, is Corona. I think Corona is the best food for me. So I like Corona, and I think that Corona is one of the best article what you have around the world, which is doing a good name to Mexico. And
come on.
And I would like to also thank you for inviting me for your show. And I wish you that you still have so much energy to invite other people, and you will speak with them. And I think that if you say that we are responsible, you are very responsible for helping to develop our sport. And I wish you good luck in the future. And I'm glad that I could be part of this your project.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jiri. And I hope we can develop some projects in the future between Plus Volleyball and Volley Country. I will be very, very glad. Let me tell you one last thing about the Corona. 5 years ago, here in Mexico City, we held the last, for us, the last stage of World League, the FIVB World League. In that occasion came Spain, Montenegro with Boschkan, and Germany with Vital Heinen. So I was the guide translator of German and Montenegrin team. So in the last day, Vital Heinen told me, "Hey, Alejandro, please take me to the best place of real Mexican food." So I take him and all the staff and all the players to one wonderful taco place here very close to my home. And when we arrived, they watched the fridge and they said, "Hey, it's Coronas." 22 people of the Germany team. The guys in the restaurant took almost 60 Coronas and put it in the table. And Vita Heinen told me, "Hey, this is very cheap. $1 a Corona. It's a gift." I don't know how much costs a Corona right now in Czech Republic.
Yeah, it costs about more than $2. But it was strange that when I played in Russia is in Novosibirsk is more than 5,000 kilometers from Czech Republic, and it was cheaper than.
Oh, really?
Distance from Czech Republic and Mexico is much lower than with Russia. But Corona is really great, and I don't know if you know it, but we in Czech Republic, we are #1, the best drinkers of the beer in the world. You know, everybody in Czech Republic is drinking beer. It's like the most popular sport in Czech Republic is drinking a beer.
As you love a Corona, that's great news.
Yes, I like Corona because it's not so powerful drink. It's like light, you know, for the summer and for the spending time with the family, with the friends. It's great drink, and you can drink some Corona and still you are not falling down. You know, when I was in Russia or in Poland, after 1 hour, you know, you don't stand on your feet. You know, I can tell you 1 hour and it's enough. You are done. So with Corona, you will survive much longer.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jiri, for being here. Hope to be in touch. Hope to be in touch in the future, and stay well, please.
Okay, see you, Alejandro, and everybody. Bye.
See you. Bye.